I need your help. And I'm hoping I can trust you.
Is this personal or political?
Political?
Then I'd suggest you hesitate.
Why?
I've done more than grow weary of the Empire. I'm afraid you'd find my politics a bit strong for your taste. Sorry, I think I've had a bit too much of PERRIN'S Empty Punch.
Drink up.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Through the Mixing Glass. As you have probably guessed, we are going to be making another pop culture cocktail. This one from the Star Wars TV show Andor. As I'm recording this, there are 8 episodes out, and I love it. It's one of my favorite shows of the year, and I think it's easily one of the best Star Wars products in years. Better even than The Mandalorian, though it suffers from a serious lack of Baby Yoda. There's no Grogu, so obviously we're going to dock it points for that. The show follows Cassian Andor, who we first met in the 2016 film Rogue One, which was also really freaking good. That's my favorite new Star Wars movie outside of the original trilogy. The first few episodes have this really cool kind of like Blade Runner, cyber noir type thing going on. I put it on kind of randomly and was hooked instantly. The production is top-notch, the story is great, the cast is excellent. Diego Luna is awesome as Andor, and the woman, I'm blanking on her name, but the woman who plays Mon Mothma is also incredible. But if you haven't been watching Andor, frankly, I don't blame you. The Disney Plus Star Wars TV shows have been kind of hit or miss. The Mandalorian was awesome, but I didn't even bother watching Obi-Wan or the Book of Boba Fett because frankly, they got no buzz that I heard. There was no one raving about them to me, so I didn't bother turning them on. So please take this as your recommendation to check out Andor, though. This is me raving about it from one Star Wars fan to another. And while you're watching it, I hope you'll drink an Embassy Punch, which is what we're gonna make in this video. What do we know about the Embassy Punch? Well, frankly, not that much. It's served at a party on Coruscant with Mon Mothma and her husband Perrin. It's blue, it's served in a Nick and Nora glass, and it's referred to as PERRIN'S Embassy Punch. So does that mean it's Perrin's version of an existing cocktail called the Embassy Punch? Or is it something that he created whole cloth? We just don't know. With what we have to go on, we've got a lot of freedom. Full disclosure though, we're gonna be making it 2 different ways for a couple of different reasons. 1, both ways are really good. And 2, I want this to be as accessible as possible. I don't want people to be scared away because of certain ingredients. Let's make the Embassy Punch, and then immediately after this, please go put on the pilot episode of Andor. I really think you're gonna like it, and I think you're gonna like this drink. Let's get started. Thanks for stopping by Through the Mixing Glass, where we are all about creative, modern cocktails. You're not gonna find a ton of classic cocktails on this channel. What you will find are pop culture cocktails, modern drinks from working bartenders, equipment reviews, tier rankings, and even some original drinks from me. This video will give you some ideas for how you can start working Amaro into your home bar. If you're looking for new drinks to make at home, this is the channel for you. This is Through the Mixing Glass, looking at cocktails differently. This is a stirred drink, so let's get out a mixing glass. First up is 2 dashes of orange bitters. Next up is ½ an ounce of blue curacao. There are a lot of blue curaçaos out there, and most of them are on the bottom shelf for a reason. If you can find and afford a nicer bottle, it's probably worth it. Now it's time for 1 ounce of Cocchi Americano, which is an aromatized wine that's going to bring a nice citrusy herbal bitterness to our drink. Now we're gonna add 2 ounces of pisco, which is a South American brandy that's distilled from grapes. I'm far from an expert on pisco, so I'm not gonna pretend to be. But I will say I do like this particular bottle of Caravito pisco. We're gonna speed through version number 2 of the drink because we're using the exact same amounts of the first 3 ingredients. But let's pause here to swap out the pisco for 2 ounces of London dry gin. All right, now it's time to try something I have only seen professional bartenders attempt. Can I stir both of these drinks at the same time? This is not going according to plan. So the answer here is no, I definitely can't do that. Watch me use the force to make this ice cube jump out of the tin. Here, I'll do it again. Bet you didn't know I was a Jedi. And as we saw in Andor, glassware for this is a Nick and Nora glass. If you don't have a Nick and Nora glass, feel free to use whatever you do have. One final step before these are ready to serve, we are going to be preparing each glass with a spritz of absinthe. That should add some nice complexity to the drink. All right, there we have it, our embassy punch from Andor. We've got the pisco one on the left and the gin version on the right. Let's go with the pisco one first. Cheers. So good. The pisco, the Cocchi Americano play off so nicely together. Pisco, if you've never had it, it kind of has a grapey flavor. It's distilled from grapes, but it plays very nicely with the Cocchi Americano, which is a fortified white wine. The Cocchi Americano brings kind of like a bitterness to it, a minerally type bitterness to it. There's some herbal notes in there as well. The blue curacao, obviously blue curacao does not have the best of reputations. The bottle I got though is not bad though. It's not as good as like a straight, Pierre Ferrand dry curacao, but it's not that bad. It works very well. Obviously it got us the blue color that we were looking for. That's very good. I like that a lot. The orange is a prominent flavor because of the curacao and also because of the orange bitters. The absinthe, I was a little worried when I was making these recipes that this was getting a little bit on the sweeter side because there's no citrus juice. And the absinthe, I think, kind of helps cut through that and stops it from being cloyingly sweet or overly sweet. So that's the pisco one. I like it a lot. Let's go ahead and try the gin-based one. Cheers. Okay. The gin one's better. The gin one is better. It's just a better drink. It's more balanced. The pine notes, the juniper notes from the gin that I use, boom, front and center, very bold. I like kind of the grapey notes that the pisco brings to the cocktail, but ultimately, now that I'm tasting them both side by side like this, the gin one is where it's at. Visually, it's everything I wanted. I wasn't originally gonna go with any sort of a garnish, but when I saw them side by side like this with that bright royal blue color, that the color matches what they show in the TV show Andor perfectly. The color is everything I was hoping it would be. But I just felt like it needed a little bit of like yellow in the form of a lemon twist to kind of like, just give it a little bit of a pop. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you about the drink, gin versus pisco. I'd love to hear from you what you think about Andor. If you've watched Andor, Obi-Wan, Book of Boba, and Mandalorian, let me know in the comments what's your ranking for all four of those. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Cheers.